Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram.
Later I'll come back and take.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Samhita Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Yeah, let us wait for some time, Mataji, okay? Another devotees once died. Let us start. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasudeva Bhakta-vrinda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Deepa Mataji, Samhita
Sorry,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. My husband was just leaving, so I got a bit late.
I mean, I'm wondering these days, last 2 days, Raju Prabhu is not joining, and I'll check with him. Thank you so much for joining today, Mataji, all of you. So let us, we will start from regular again. BG 16, then
Okay.
SB 16, then CC Adi 16. Okay, Mataji, you can continue. I'm making you host.
Okay, Prabhuji. We'll start with Mangalasharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We'll start with the 16th chapter. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Am I audible, Mataji? Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy, and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Purport.
Mataji, before purport, is the wonderful slokas. So can you recite, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhuji. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti Danam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodhas Tyagashantir Apaishunam Daya Bhuteshvalo Luktvam Madhavam Shir Achapalam Teja Kshama Dhriti Shaucham Adroho Nati Manita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the beginning of the 15th chapter, the banyan tree of this material world was explained. The extra roots coming out of it were compared to the activities of the living entities, some auspicious, some inauspicious. In the 9th chapter also, the devas or godly and the asuras, the ungodly or demons, were explained. Now, according to Vedic rites, activities in the mode of goodness are considered auspicious for progress on the path of liberation, and such activities are known as Daivi Prakriti, transcendental by nature. Those who are situated in the transcendental nature make progress on the path of liberation. For those who are acting in the mode of passion and ignorance, on the other hand, there is no possibility of liberation. Either they will have to remain in this material world as human beings, or they will descend among the species of animals or even lower life forms. In the 16th chapter, the Lord explains both the transcendental nature and its attendant qualities, and the demoniac nature and its qualities. He also explains the advantages and disadvantages of these qualities. Hare Krishna. Samhita Mataji, 2 paragraphs chadavandi.
Okay, Mataji. The word Abhijatasya in reference to one born of transcendental qualities or godly tendencies is very significant. To beget a child in a godly atmosphere is known in the Vedic scriptures as Garbhadhana Samskara. If the parents want a child in the godly qualities, they should follow the 10 principles recommended for the social life of the human being. In Bhagavad Gita, we have studied also before that sex life for begetting a good child is Krishna himself. Sex life is not condemned, provided the process is used in Krishna consciousness. Those who are in Krishna consciousness at least should not beget children like cats and dogs, but should beget them so that they may become Krishna conscious after birth. That should be the advantage of children born of a father and mother absorbed in Krishna consciousness. The social institution known as Varnashrama Dharma, the institution dividing society into 4 divisions of social life and 4 occupational divisions or castes, is not meant to divide human society according to birth. Such divisions are in terms of educational qualifications. They are to keep the society in a state of peace and prosperity. The qualities mentioned herein are explained as transcendental qualities meant for making a person progress in spiritual understanding so that he can get liberated from the material world. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Lavanya Mataji, 2 paragraphs avtara.
Yeah, I'll read, Mataji. I'm unable to see the screen.
Okay.
Just
Laltman
one
Prabhuji.
after I'll read.
Okay. Laltman Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Oh.
In the Varnashrama institution, the sannyasi or person in the renounced road of life is considered to be the head or the spiritual master of all the social statuses and orders. A Brahmana is considered to be spiritual master of the 3 other sections of the society, namely the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras. But a sannyasi who is on the top of the institution is considered to be spiritual master of the Brahmanas also. For a sannyasi, the qualification should be fearlessness. Because a sannyasi has to be alone without any support or guarantee of support, He has simply to depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one thinks, after I leave my connections, who will protect me? He should not accept the renounced order of life. One must be fully convinced that Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his localized aspect as Paramatma, is always within. That he is seeing everything and he always knows what one intends to do. One must thus have firm conviction that Krishna as Paramatma will take care of his soul surrendered to him. I shall never be alone. One should think, even if I live in the darkest regions of the forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna and he will give me all protection. That conviction is called abhayam, fearlessness. This state of mind is necessary for a person in the renounced order of life. Then he has to purify his existence. There are so many rules and regulations to be followed in the renounced order of life. Most important of all, a sannyasi is strictly forbidden to have any intimate relationship with a woman. He is even forbidden to talk with a woman in a secluded place. Lord Chaitanya was the ideal sannyasi, and when he was at Puri, his feminine devotees could not even come near to offer their respects. They were advised to bow down from a distant place. This is not a sign of hatred for women as a class, but it is a stricture imposed on the sannyasi not to have close connections with women. One has to follow the rules and regulations of a particular status of life in order to purify his existence. For a sannyasi, intimate relations with women and possessions of wealth for sense gratification are strictly forbidden. The ideal sannyasi was Lord Chaitanya himself, and we can learn from his life that he was very strict in regards to women. Although he is considered to be the most liberal incarnation of the Godhead, accepting the most following conditioned souls, he strictly followed the rules and regulations of the sannyasa order of life in connection with the association with women. One of his personal associates, namely Chota Haridas, was associated with Lord Chaitanya along with his other confidential personal associates. But somehow or other, this Chota Haridas looked lustily on a young woman, and Lord Chaitanya was so strict that he at once rejected him from the society of his personal associates. Lord Chaitanya said, for a sannyasi or anyone who is aspiring to get out of the clutches of material nature and trying to elevate himself to the spiritual nature and go back home, back to Godhead, for him, looking toward material persons and women for sense gratification, not even enjoying them, but just looking toward them with such a propensity is so condemned that he had better commit suicide before experiencing such illicit desires. So these are the processes for purification. Thank you so much, Mataji.
లావణ్య మాతాజీ చూడగలుగుతున్నారా?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavachanam. The next item is Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. Being engaged in the cultivation of knowledge, sannyasi life is meant for distributing knowledge to the householders and others who have forgotten their real life of spiritual advancement. A sannyasi is supposed to beg from door to door for his livelihood, but this does not mean that he is a beggar. Humility is also one of the qualifications of the transcendentally situated person. And out of sheer humility, the sannyasi goes from one door to another, not exactly for the purpose of begging, but to see the householders and awaken them to Krishna consciousness. This is the duty of a sannyasi. If he is actually advanced and so ordered by his spiritual master, he should preach Krishna consciousness with logic and understanding. And if one is not so advanced, he should not accept the renounced order of life. But even if one has accepted the renounced order of life without sufficient knowledge, he should engage himself fully in hearing from a bona fide spiritual master to cultivate knowledge. A sannyasi or one in the renounced order of life must be situated in fearlessness, sattva samshuddhi, purity, and jnana yoga, knowledge. The next item is charity. Charity is meant for the householders. The householders should earn a livelihood by the honorable means and spend 50% of their income to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. Thus, the householders should give the charity to institutional societies that are engaged in that way. Charity should be given to the right receiver charity should be given to the right receiver. There are different kinds of charity, as will be explained later on. Charity in the mode of goodness, charity in the mode of passion, and charity in the mode of ignorance. Charity in the mode of goodness is recommended by the scriptures, but charity in the mode of passion and ignorance is not recommended because it is simply a waste of money. Charity should be given only to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. That is charity in the mode of goodness. Yeah, thank you much. Mataji, Sandhya Mataji is here.
Yeah, Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Then as far as Dharma, self-control is concerned, it is not only meant for other orders of religious society, but is especially meant for the householder. Although he has a wife, a householder should not use his senses for sex life unnecessarily. There are restrictions for the householders even in sex life, which should only be engaged in for the propagation of the children. If he doesn't require children, he should not enjoy sex life with his wife. Modern society enjoys sex life with contraceptive methods or more abominable methods to avoid the responsibility of children. This is not in the transcendental quality, but is demonic. If anyone, even if he is a householder, wants to make progress in spiritual life, he must control his sex life and should not beget a child without the purpose of serving Krishna. If he is able to beget children who will be in the Krishna consciousness, one can produce hundreds of children, but without this capacity, one should not indulge only for sense pleasure. Sacrifice is another item to be performed by the householders because sacrifices require a large amount of money. Those in other orders of life, namely Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, have no money. They live by begging. So performance of different types of sacrifices meant for the householders. They should perform Agnihotra, sacrifices as enjoined in the Vedic literature. But such sacrifices at the present moment are very expensive, and it is not possible for any householder to perform them. The best sacrifice recommended in this age is called Sankirtana Yajna. The Sankirtana Yajna, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the best and most inexpensive sacrifice. Everyone can adopt it and derive benefit. So these three items, namely charity, sense control, and performance of sacrifice, are meant for the householder.
Yeah, anybody else? Andrita అయిపోయింది కదా ఒకరని. Yeah. Then Swadhyaya Vedic study is meant for brahmacharya or student life. Brahmacharis should have no connection with women. They should live a life of celibacy and engage the mind in the study of Vedic literature for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is called Swadhyaya. Tapas or austerity is especially meant for the retired life. One should not remain a householder throughout his whole life. He must always remember that there are 4 divisions of life: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. So after grihastha, householder life, one should retire. If one lives for 100 years, he should spend 25 years in student life, 25 in householder life, 25 in retired life, and 25 in the renounced order of life. These are the regulations of Vedic religious discipline. A man retired from household life must practice austerities of the body, mind, and tongue. That is tapasya. The entire Varnashrama Dharma society is meant for tapasya. Without tapasya or austerity, no human being can get liberation. The theory that there is no need of austerity in life, that one can go on speculating and everything will be nice, is recommended neither in the Vedic literature nor in Bhagavad Gita. Such theories are manufactured by show bottle spiritualists who are trying to gather more followers. If there are restrictions, rules, and regulations, people will not become attracted. Therefore, those who want followers in the name of religion, just to have a show only, don't restrict the lives of their students, not their own lives. But that method is not approved by the Vedas. Samhita Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. As far as the Brahmanical quality of simplicity is concerned, not only should a particular order of life follow this principle, but every member, be he in the Brahmachari ashrama, Grihastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama, or Sannyasa ashrama. One should be very simple and straightforward. Ahimsa means not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. One should not think that since the spirit spark is never killed, even after the killing of the body, there is no harm in killing animals for sense gratification. People are now addicted to eating animals in spite of having an ample supply of grains, fruits, and milk. There is no necessity for animal killing. This injunction is for everyone. When there is no alternative, one may kill an animal, but it should be offered in sacrifice. At any rate, when there is an ample food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to make advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence to animals. Real ahimsa means not checking anyone's progressive life. The animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal life to another. If a particular animal is killed, then his progress is checked. If an animal is staying in a particular body for so many days or so many years and is untimely killed, then he has to come back again in that form of life to complete the remaining days in order to be promoted to another species of life. So their progress should not be checked simply to satisfy one's palate. This is called ahimsa, satyam. This word means that one should not distort the truth for some personal interest. In Vedic literatures, there are some difficult passages, but the meaning or the purpose should be learned from a bona fide spiritual master. That is the process for understanding the Vedas. Shruti means that one should hear from the authority. One should not construe some interpretation for his personal interest. There are so many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita that misinterpret the Mataji's Hare Krishna. Yes. Misinterpret the original text. The real import of the word should be presented, and that should be learned from a bona fide spiritual master.
Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone is understanding the meanings of these words, na? And proper explanations of it, especially ahimsa, tejas, akrodha. These are very important in spiritual life, because from the past 30 years we were learning that ahimsa means Gandhiji's ahimsa, but here the ahimsa's definition itself is very different. Okay, the proper explanations of these words is very important in our future also, for our understanding of this Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all these literature, spiritual literatures. These examples or these explanations are very, very important. So please listen them very carefully. Okay. See now, it is said, if human kills animals, it is himsa. But if a tiger kills the deer, is it himsa or ahimsa?
It's ahimsa only, Prabhu. I mean, it's not himsa though.
That's not himsa. That is ahimsa. But if human kills,
it is ahimsa because we are stopping the their cycle.
It is himsa. It is himsa.
That is himsa.
Yeah. And that too, only exception is when you find nothing to eat, then you can do it. But saying in its ear that Mam Saha means this time I am killing you and you will kill me in the next. Okay? And you should offer it in a sacrifice to Lord Kali, Goddess Kali. And then that is how you can consume. If it is unavoidable, that is the only place we can do it. The definition of Prabhupada's ahimsa is not like if someone slaps you, you show that other cheek. No. Okay, ahimsa has a complete different meaning. Means checking someone's spiritual growth is known as himsa. If you don't do that, then that is a proper ahimsa. Okay. Please understand these words. And satyam also. Satyam means distorting, not distorting for personal interest. And anytime you get a confusion, what we should do? We should go to our spiritual master. So these are very important. Please do it carefully. Please listen them carefully.
Yes, Prabhuji. ఎవరు సంధ్యా మాతాజీ చదివారా?
లేదు మాతాజీ. Akrodha means to check anger. Even if there is provocation, one should be tolerant. For once one becomes angry, his whole body becomes polluted. Anger is a product of mode of passion and lust. So one who is transcendently situated should check himself from anger. Apaishunam means that one should not find fault with others or correct them unnecessarily. Of course, to call a thief is not fault finding, but to call a honest person a thief is very much offensive for one who is making advancement in spiritual life. Hari means that one should be very modest and must not perform some act which is abominable. Achapalam, determination, means that one should not agitated or frustrated in some attempt. There may be failure in some attempt, but one should not be sorry for that. He should make progress with patience and determination. The word Tejas used here is meant for the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas should always be very strong to be able to give protection to the weak. They should not pose themselves as non-violent. If violence is required, they must exhibit it. But a person who is able to curb down his enemy may, under certain conditions, show forgiveness. He may excuse minor offenses.
Actually, it is said that in Kali Yuga, these Kshatriyas are polluted. How? Because they have taken the path of non-violence. Like in India, if you see the history, contemporary history, you will come to know that Prithviraj Chauhan, he wanted to imitate Lord Krishna by leaving 17 times Muhammad Ghori. What happened? He beheaded him at last. So we should be very careful what ahimsa means and what how we should be tolerant, to whom we should show our tolerance and all. Like Krishna left 17 times this, what we say, Jarasandha. And this person, he wanted to imitate that guy, but kept a stake of the whole continent under him. That is how the plundering of India started. So we should be very, we should know scriptures properly, when to show this thing and when to show mercy and when not to show the mercy, whom to show and whom not to show. Because Kshatriyas are not trained properly, the dharma is not being standard properly, not being propagated properly. So there are big, these words, they might look very simple, but they have a deep meaning inside them. Okay. From now on, all these 3 to 4 chapters in Bhagavad Gita should be very concentrated upon to know how to live properly. Thank you, Mataji. Please go.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji.
Yeah.
Chadvandi.
Yeah. Shaucha means cleanliness, not only in mind and body, but in one's dealings also. It is especially meant for the mercantile people who should not deal in the black market. Nati Manita, not expecting honor, applies to the Shudras, the worker class, which is considered, according to Vedic injunction, to be the lowest of 4 classes. They should not be puffed up with unnecessary prestige or honor and should remain in their own status. It is the duty of the Shudras to offer respect to the higher classes for the upkeep of the social order. All these 26 qualifications mentioned are transcendental qualities. They should be cultivated according to the different statuses of social and occupational order. The purport is that even though material conditions are miserable, if these qualities are developed by practice by all classes of men, then gradually it is possible to rise to the highest platform of transcendental realization. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Lalitman Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. ఇది ఒకటి చదివేసింది.
Okay. How should I do it, Mataji? Translation and purport.
Yeah.
Translation.
Translation.
Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. Purport. In this verse, the royal road to hell is described. The demoniac want to make a show of religion and advancement in spiritual science, although they do not follow the principles. They are always arrogant or proud in possessing some type of education or so much wealth. They desire to be worshipped by others and demand respectability, although they do not command respect. Over trifles, they become very angry and speak harshly, not gently. They do not know what should be done and what should not be done. They do everything whimsically, according to their own desire, and they do not recognize any authority. These demoniac qualities are taken on by them from beginning of their bodies in the wombs of their mothers. And as they grow, they manifest all these inauspicious qualities. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhuji. We'll conclude the reading call here. All of us have finished our turns. We can start Brahma Samhita. But nobody is pending, Prabhuji, from our group for Brahma Samhita.
So, what do you like to do, Mataji? Shall we continue the call?
Should we?
Ready? Or
For reading call, or should we do the anchor shloka, each one person doing all anchor shlokas ala cheddama? Em cheddam?
your wish, Mataji. You people, devotees decided, devotees decided.
Lavanya Mataji, ఏమంటారు?
ఏంటి
అయితే
మాతాజీ?
అంటే
ఏంటి?
మనం ఉన్న వాళ్ళమందరం బ్రహ్మ సంహిత కంప్లీట్ చేసేసాము. లేని వాళ్ళు కాల్లో లేరు.
నేను నాది అవ్వలే మాతాజీ.
మీది అవ్వలేదా? ఓకే ఓకే మాతాజీ.
అకించన్ ప్రియ ప్రభుజీ, నాది రాజు ప్రభుజీ, ఇంకా సపన్ కుమార్ ప్రభుజీ.
ఓకే, కానీ వాళ్ళు లేరు కాల్లో. మీరు చేయండి అయితే. అయితే ఇంకొంచెం రీడింగ్
మీరన్నట్టు లైక్ ఒకసారి అవి యాంకర్ శ్లోకాస్ కూడా ఇలాంటి టైంలో ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయొచ్చు మాతాజీ.
అవును మాతాజీ, యాంకర్ శ్లోకాస్ చేద్దామా, లేదంటే మళ్ళీ భగవద్గీత మనం స్టార్టింగ్ నుంచి ఏదైతే నేర్చుకున్నా అది అలా చేద్దామా? ఎందుకంటే మధ్యలో మనం యాంకర్ శ్లోకాస్ చేసాం కదా మొన్న. లలిత్ మోహన్ ప్రభు ఏమంటారు?
భగవద్గీత ఏంటి మాతాజీ?
అప్పుడు అంటే మన భక్తి శాస్త్రి కోసం అన్ని చేసాం కదా.
భక్తి శాస్త్రి, ఓకే ఓకే మాతాజీ. అసలు యాక్చువల్లీ స్టార్ట్ అయిన దాని గురించి ఎక్కడ దాకా వచ్చినాము. అవును. ఓకే మాతాజీ.
Or otherwise, yeah, okay. What we'll do is, or otherwise, what we can do is, until 8:50, we can continue the reading call. And from 8:50, Lavanya Mataji will do, and we can conclude the call. That is also one possibility. Everemante ala. Mataji, మీరేమంటారు?
ఎస్ మాతాజీ, ఇట్స్ ఓకే. బట్ అప్పుడప్పుడు యాంకర్ శ్లోకాలు కూడా చేస్తే గుర్తుంటాయి మాతాజీ.
అయితే యాంకర్ శ్లోకాస్ చేద్దాం. అయితే ఫస్ట్ మీది బ్రహ్మ సంహిత అయిపోయిన తర్వాత అప్పుడు రిమైనింగ్ టైం పీరియడ్ కి విల్ డు ద యాంకర్ శ్లోకాస్.
ఎస్ మాతాజీ, అండ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ అదర్ డివోటీస్ సేస్.
Okay, Mataji. 1 second, I'll just share the shlokas. You have your copy, then you can start off, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Please start.
So first Brahma Samhita, na Mataji?
Avunu Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai, Shri Lord Brahma ki jai, Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna ki jai. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Sorry. Chintamani Prakara Satma Sukalpa Vriksha Lakshavruteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham तमहं भजामि। वेणुं त्वनन्तमरविन्ददलायताक्षं बर्हावतं समसिताम्बुदसुन्दराङ्गं कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आलोलचन्द्रकलसत्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नाङ्गदं प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासं श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितं नियतप्रकाशं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अङ्गानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ते पश्यन्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जिगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मय सदुज्ज्वलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभमात्मभक्तौ गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। पन्तास्तु कोटिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायोरतापि मनसो मुनिपुङ्गवानां सोऽप्यस्ति यत्प्रवदसीम्यविचिन्त्य तत्त्वे गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। एकोऽप्यसौ रचयितुं जगदण्डकोटिं यशक्तिरस्ति जगदण्डचयाय दन्ता अण्डान्तरस्थपरमाणुचयान्तरस्थं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यद्भावभावितधियो मनुजास्तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमासनयानभूषा सूक्तैर्यमेव निगमप्रथितैस्तुवन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मयरसप्रतिभाविताभिर्ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसत्य किलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। प्रेमाञ्जनच्चुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्य गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। रामादिमूर्तिषु कलानियमेन तिष्ठन् नानावतारमकरोत् भुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्ण स्वयं समभवत् परमः पुमान्यो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो जगदण्डकोटि कोटिष्वशेषवसुधादिविभूतिभिन्नं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमनन्तमशेषभूतं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। माया हि यस्य जगदण्डशतानि सूते त्रैगुण्य तद्विषयवेदवितायमाना सत्त्वावलम्बि परसत्त्वं विशुद्धसत्त्वं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मय रसात्मतया मनस्सु यः प्राणिनां प्रतिफलं स्मरतामुपेत्य लीलायितेन भुवनानि जयत्यजस्रं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोलोकनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्या देवी महेश हरिधाम सुतेषु तेषु ते प्रभावनिचया विहिताश्च येन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलय साधन शक्तिरेका चाये वयस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य च चेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। क्षीरं यथा दधि विकारविशेषयोगात् सञ्जायते न हि तथा पृथगस्ति हेतो यः शम्भुतामपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि दीपाचिरेव हि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवृतहेतुसमानधर्मा यस्तादृगेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यः कारणानवजले भजति स्म योगा निद्रामनन्तजगदण्डसरोमकूपा आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परां स्वमूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्यैकनिःश्वसितकालमतावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथा विष्णुर्महास इह यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि भास्वान् यथाश्मशकलेषु निजेषु तेजा स्वीयं कियत् प्रकटयत्यपि तद्वदत्र ब्रह्माययेष जगदण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भा द्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमये सगनादिराजा विघ्नान् विहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अग्निर्महे गगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालास्ततात्ममनसि चिजगत्त्रयानि यस्माद् भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यच्चक्षुरेष सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेष तेजा यस्याज्ञया भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि धर्मोत्तपापनिचयश्रुतयस्तपांसि ब्रह्मादिकीटपतगावदयश्च जीवा यद्दत्र मात्र विभव प्रकट प्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्विन्द्रगोपमतवेन्द्र महोत्सकर्म बन्धानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किञ्चित् भक्तिभाजां गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यं क्रोधकामसहजप्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोहगुरुगौरवसेव्य भावै सञ्चिन्त्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रियः कान्ता कान्ता परमपुरुषा कल्पतरुः द्रुमा भूमिश्चिन्तामणि गणमयी तोयममृतम् तथा गानं नाट्यं गमनमपि वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं ज्योति परमपि तदा स्वाद्यमपि च स यत्र क्षीराद्रिस्रवति सुरभिभ्यश्च सुमहा निमेषाद्दाख्यो वा व्रजति न हि यत्रापि समया भजे श्वेतद्वीपं तमहमिह गोलोकमितियं विदन्तस्ये सन्ता क्षितिविरला चारा कटिपये. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Very good. So everyone in the call is done, Mataji. Everyone in the call done, Mataji. No one is left.
Yes,
Right?
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji, you can lead with the character shlokas then. Mataji, I might leave today by 8:55 only.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Please, you can continue the call, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Nani Mataji, do you want to continue this also once?
Yes, Mata. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.52.37. Sri Rukmini Vacha Shrutva Gunan Bhuvana Sundara Shunvatante Nirvishya Karna Vivarairatong Gatapam Rupam Drisham Drishimatam Akilatalabam Tvayachita Vishati Chittamapatrapam me. Sri Rukmini said in her letter as read by the Brahmana, O beauty of the worlds, having heard of your qualities, which enter the ears of those who hear and remove their bodily distress, and having also heard of your beauty, which fulfills all the visual desires of those who see, I have fixed my shameless mind upon you, O Krishna. Can I continue, Mataji? Or?
Yes, Mataji.
Katva mukunda mahate kulashila rupa vidyavayodra vinadam abhiratmatulyam dhirapatim kulavatim navrinita kanya kalena simhanaralokamano viramam. O Mukunda, you are equal only to yourself in lineage, character, beauty, knowledge, youthfulness, wealth, and influence. O lion among men, you delight the minds of all mankind. What aristocratic, sober-minded, and marriageable girl of a good family would not choose you as her husband when the proper time has come? Yes, Mata. Thank you, Mata.
Thank you, Mataji. Samyukta, Lalit Mohan Prabhu, మీరు చేస్తారా? మీరు you have to leave అన్నారు కదా, you can do 2 శ్లోకాలు.
మాతాజీ ఏమన్నా మాతాజీ
మీరు 2 శ్లోకాలు చేయగలరా? మీరు మళ్ళీ 8:55కి వెళ్ళిపోవాలన్నారు కదా, 2 శ్లోకాలు ఇవి శ్రీ గోప్య అక్షన్వతం.
ఓకే మాతాజీ. శ్రీ గోప్య ఊచుః అక్షన్వతాం ఫలమిదం న పరం విధామ సఖ్యా పశూనను వివేశయతోర్వయస్కై వక్త్రం వ్రజేష సుతయోరనవేణుజుష్టం యైర్వా నిపీతమనురక్త కటాక్షమోక్షం. Translation. The cowherd girl said, "O friends, those eyes that see the beautiful faces of the sons of Maharaj Nanda are certainly fortunate. As these 2 sons enter the forest." ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపోయింది మాతాజీ?
అదే ఇక్కడ ఉంది.
As these 2 sons enter the forest, surrounded by their friends, driving the cows before them, they hold their flutes to their mouths and glance lovingly upon the residents of Vrindavan. For those who have eyes, we think there is no greater object of vision.
Yes, Prabhu, ఇది కూడా.
Okay. Chutak pravala barhastabakotpalabja మాలానుప్రిక్త పరిధాన విచిత్ర వేషం మధ్యే విరేజతురలం పశుపాల గోష్ఠ్యాం రంగే యథా నటవరౌపచగాయమానో. Translation. Dressed in the charming variety of garments upon which their garlands rest, and decorating themselves with the peacock feathers, lotuses, lilies, newly grown mango sprouts, and clusters of the flower buds, Krishna and Balram shine forth magnificently among the assembly of cowherd boys. They look just like the best of the dancers appearing on the dramatic stage, and sometimes they sing. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Samhita Mataji, చేస్తారా?
Yes, Mother. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.15.19. Mandara kunda kurabotpala champakarna punnaganaga bakulam bhujaparijata gandhe archite tulasika bharanena tasya Yasmim tapah sumanaso bahumanayanti. Translation: although flowering plants like the mandara, kunda, kurabaka, utpala, champaka, arna, punnaga, nagakeshara, bakula, lily, and parijata are full of transcendental fragrance, they are still conscious of the austerities performed by Tulasi. For Tulasi is given special preference by the Lord, who garlands himself with Tulasi leaves. Naumityate bruhavapuse tadidambaraya गुञ्जावतां सपरिपीच्छलसन्मुखाय वन्यास्रजे कवलवेत्रविशानवेणु लक्ष्माश्रिये मृदुपदे पशुपाङ्गजाय. Translation: Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, you are the only worshipable Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore I offer my humble obeisances and prayers just to please you. O son of the king of the cowherds, your transcendental body is dark blue like a new cloud. Your garment is brilliant like lightning, and the beauty of your face is enhanced by your gunja earrings and the peacock feather on your head. Wearing garlands of various forest flowers and leaves, and equipped with a herding stick, a buffalo horn, and a flute, you stand beautifully with a morsel of food in your hand."
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.23.22. Shamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalyabarha dhatu pravalanatabeshamanapratamse vinyastahastamitarena dunanamabjam karnotpalalakakapolamukapchahasam. Translation:
Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanam.
విన్యస్తహస్తమితరేణ ధునానమబ్జం. మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చేస్తాను ప్రభుజీ. శ్యామం హిరణ్యపరిధిం వనమాల్యబర్హ ధాతు ప్రవాళనటవేషమనవ్రతంసే విన్యస్తహస్తమితరేణ ధునానమబ్జం కర్ణోత్పలాలకకపోలముకాబ్జహాసం. Translation: his complexion was dark blue and his garment golden, wearing a peacock feather, colored minerals, springs of flower buds, and a garland of forest flowers and leaves. He was dressed just like a dramatic dancer. He rested one hand upon the shoulder of a friend, and with the other twirled a lotus. Lilies graced his ears, his hair hung down over his cheeks, and his lotus-like face was smiling. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.39.31. Sri Shuka Uvacha. Evam bruvana virahat rabhrisham prajastriya krishna vishaktamanasa visrichalajjam rurudu smasuswaram govinda damodara madhaveti. Translation: Sukadeva Goswami said, after speaking these words, the ladies of Vraja, who were so attached to Krishna, felt extremely agitated by their imminent separation from him. They forgot all shame and loudly cried out, "O Govinda, O Damodara, O Madhava." Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. నేను చేస్తాను. गृहे गृहे गोपवधू कदम्बा सर्वे मिलित्वा समवाप्य योगं पुण्यानि नामानि पठन्ति नित्यं गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति. In house after house, groups of gopis gather on various occasions, and together they always chant the transcendental names of Krishna, Govinda, Damodara, and Madhava. तत्तेऽनुकम्पां सुसमीक्षमानो भुञ्जान एवात्मकृतं विपाकं हृद्वा वपुर्भिर्विदधन् मम namaste Jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhag. Translation: My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Hare Krishna. Lavanya Mataji.
Sorry. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.1.1. निवृत्ततर्षैरुपगीयमानात् भवौषधात् श्रोत्रमनोभिरामात् कौत्तमश्लोकगुणानुवादात् पुमान् विरचेत विना पशुघ्नात् निवृत्ततर्षैरुपगीयमानात् भवौषधात् श्रोत्रमनोभिरामात् कौत्तमश्लोकगुणानुवादात् पुमान् विरचेत विना पशुघ्नात्. Translation: Glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Parampara system. That is, it is conveyed from the spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is relished by those no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. Descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? Hare Krishna.
ఇది కూడా చేసేయండి మాతాజీ.
स वै मनः कृष्ण पदारविन्दयोः वाचांसि वैकुण्ठगुणानुवर्णने करो हरेर्मन्दिरमार्जनादिषु श्रुतिं चकाराच्युतशतकतोदये मुकुन्दलिङ्गालय दर्शने दृशौ तद्भृत्यगात्रा स्पर्शेऽङ्गसङ्गमम् ग्रानं च तत्पादसरोजसौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्यारसनां तदर्पिते पादौ हरे पादौ हरे क्षेत्रपदानुसर्पणे शिरो हृषीकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्येन तु कामकामया यतोत्तमश्लोकजनाश्रयारति. Translation: Maharaja Ambarisa always engaged in his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. His words describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temple, and Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavana. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulasi offered to the Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasada. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord. His head is bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaja Ambarisha never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service, in various engagements related to the Lord. This is a way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. Yeah, thank you, Mata.
Thank you, Mataji. సంయుక్త మాతాజీ ఒక్క నిమిషం ఇది ఓపెన్ చేస్తాను.
Yes, ma'am.
ఒక్క నిమిషం.
మాతాజీ అవసరం లేదు మాతాజీ.
మీ దగ్గర ఉందా?
నాకు అది వచ్చు మాతాజీ.
ఓకే మాతాజీ.
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.16.16. Saratya Parshada Sevana Sakya Dautya Virasana Anugamana Sthavana Pranaman Snigdeshu Pandusu Jagat Pranatim Cha Vishnur Bhaktim Karoti Nrupatis Charanaravinde. Translation. Maharaj Parikshit heard that out of his causeless mercy, Lord Krishna, Vishnu, who is universally obeyed, rendered all kinds of service to the malleable sons of Pandu by accepting posts ranging from chariot driver to president to messenger, friend, night watchman, etc., according to the will of the Pandavas, obeying them like a servant and offering obeisances like one younger in years. When he heard this, Maharaj Parikshit became overwhelmed with devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord.
ఇది అయిపోయింది కదా మాతాజీ?
అవును మాతాజీ, అయిపోయింది.
Yes, Mataji. అది అయిపోయింది.
Yes, Mataji. Barhapidam natavarapuhu karnayo karnikaram bibratvasaha kanakakapisham vaijayantim chamalam randran venor adhara sudhaya purayan gopavrindair vrindaranyam swapadaраmanam pravishad gita kirtihi. Translation. Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vaijayanti garland, Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavana, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. Yes.
Yeah. సంధ్యా మాతాజీ, ఇది అయిపోయింది కదా?
అయిపోయింది మాతాజీ.
ఇది అయిపోయిందా?
లేదు, అయిపోలే మాతాజీ.
ఓకే.
ఇది శృత్వ గుణన్ ఫార్మేట్ ఏనా మాతాజీ?
అహోబకీయం అలా.
అహోబకీయం స్తనకాలకూటం జిఘాంసయాప్యాయధాప్య సాత్వి లేభే గతిం ధాత్రియుచితాం తతోన్యం తం వా దయాళుం శరణం వ్రజేమ. అహోబకీయం స్తనకాలకూటం జిఘాంసయాప్యాయధాప్య సాత్వి లేభే గతిం ధాత్రియుచితాం తతోన్యం తం వా దయాళుం శరణం వ్రజేమ. Translation. Allah, how shall I take the shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. Thank you, Mataji.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మాతాజీ. అన్ని అయిపోయినట్టేనా మాతాజీ?
యా, అయిపోయినాయి మాతాజీ.
ఓకే. ఓకే మాతాజీ. అయితే I'll conclude the call.
Yes, మాతాజీ.
వాంఛాకల్పతరుభ్యశ్చ కృపా సింధుభ్య ఏవ చ పతితానాం పావనేభ్యో వైష్ణవేభ్యో నమో నమః. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रीला प्रभुपाद बुक रीडिंग की जय. श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. हरे कृष्ण. Thank you for joining, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.